Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you? This is Freddie Ewan, two-time GM of the year, current Pan Am Cup champion, host of the TPFF KAL show. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. Just a couple quick announcements. We are trying to get some more guests on the TPFF KAL show. We reached out to three different GMs that have not been on the show yet. We heard back from one, same one who's whining that he can't be on the show, but we're working on him. I really want to get this guy on the show. Two others that I want to get on the show. We're going to reach out to one more. If not, we're going to have to go back to our regular guests, try to get the commissioner back on, maybe Champ to discuss the Waffle Bowl. And James will always be a repeat guest. That's my man. I know he will. It's always a great show with Jimmy too. And hopefully we can get J-Dot on too. J-Dot has, believe it or not, the most views on the TPFF KAL show by far is the GM of the Virginia Sea Dogs. So that's pretty exciting stuff. He is a big catch when it comes to the TPFF KAL. Anyway, this was a big week, and it's just going to get bigger. All the way down. It's just a big week and getting bigger. Really close games. TDK barely edges the Sea Dogs. The Sea Dogs lose their three straight. Really thought that the Sea Dogs had it, and then Jalen Hurts just went freaking nuts in the second half. Really big win for TDK. TDK is really in the driver's seat to get the number one seed in the playoffs and win their third straight regular season title. Playoffs might be something different, but they really do control their own destiny. Sea Dogs fall back. They got a little bit of an uphill battle to get back to see if they can get a 1 or 2 seed, but looks like they're probably going to have a playoff spot. Playoff spot's not in too much disarray, but the San Patricio Rock Throwers do get a win behind. Justin Fields puts up enough points, gets them a win on Monday night. They beat the Gronk Donks. San Patricio Rock Throwers are behind on points, but they are currently tied with IFT and the Virginia Sea Dogs at 7-5. Semi-automatic, happy birthday, Devinder. Thank you for your service to our country. Semi-automatic gets a win over Shake and Bake. Their second win of the year. Goes up 2-10. Shake and Bake falls down 5-7. Big matchup here. Big matchup. Really close. FJTK over COC 140.88 to 139.44. COC leaves Devontae Smith on the bench for Adam Thielen. I was looking at the rankings and I was thinking that was a horrible move, but I was actually looking at the rankings and there were a lot of rankings that had Thielen over Smith this week. I'm not sure why. I think that Thielen had a good run a bit, but that offense is just, just in disarray. And I think with Dallas Goedert out, that Devontae Smith is going to get a lot more looks. Don't always I know a lot of GMs do this one way and a lot of GMs do this the other way, but I don't like always playing the same defense because it can get you in trouble with correlation when you have even a wide receiver, but especially a running back. When you have a running back on the opposing team in the defense, it's always going to be a give and take on points almost. When the running back scores a touchdown, it's going to take away points. Same thing, it's like you pick, if that running back fumbles, you lose a point for the fumble, but the defense picks up a point. So it's, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand that some teams and some GMs, they stick with the same defense and are consistent throughout. I've never really done that. I've always just played the matchups in the waiver wire to find, the best defense, the best defensive matchup for the week. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Same thing with, keeping a consistent defense. Sometimes, if you have the San Francisco 49ers, they have a great defense. Some days they're going to have great numbers, other days they're not. Same thing with the, New York Jets. Sometimes they put up great numbers, sometimes they don't. So, there's really no bad way of doing this. Back to the TPFF KAL. Ugly game for the Red Sharks. Just 80 points. They are really in Waffle Bowl contentious. IFT scores 138 points, maintains the 6th place spot, and TOD barely survives an upset alert from Donks for Life. DJ Moore came out hot on Monday night. Fourth quarter, had a big catch, which gave the Bears a win. Next week, it is going to be, I mean, this is exciting. This is what makes, this is what makes the TPFFKL super exciting is, it seems like the schedule is just like, the schedule has been pretty awesome. These matchups, another great week. We have another great week of matchups. Let me bring this up really quickly. This next week of matchups, week 13. Week 13 matchups. The game of the week is going to be COC versus TDK. COC's got a tough schedule ahead of themselves. They are currently in fourth. They had to play 3 playoff teams last week. Have to play TDK. Tough game for TDK. This one is really up in the air. COC can make it. COC can get knocked out of the playoffs. It looks like if they lose their next 2 games and the San Patricio Rock Throwers win their next 2 games. IFT plays the Virginia Sea Dogs, which is kind of going to hurt the Rock Throwers a little bit, as one of those teams is going to get a win and move up, and one of those teams is going to get a loss and move down. But nothing happens, of course, unless the Rock Throwers can pull the upset over FJTK. So that's going to be a hey, if the Rock Throwers can pull this off and get in the playoffs, as much as I bat on you, Neil, you are my vote for the GM of the year if you can make the playoffs. You had a great start. You hit a wall, but if you can make the playoffs, it's you are my vote for GM of the year. Gonna have to be James, though. Gonna have to be James this week. It's gonna be an uphill battle, but hey, anything can be done in fantasy football. Big game between IFT and the Virginia Sea Dogs. Sea Dogs are in a spiral right now, but Sea Dogs have a nice team. They really do have a nice team. Those 2 running backs. Eckler has not really had that great of a year. CMC's been great, though. CMC is the hands down number 1 running back. Kyron Williams, I knew he was going to have a big game last week. Kyron Williams is a stud. The one nice thing about the Sea Dogs as well is they got some good keepers for next year. I think, Puka has not been great, but I wouldn't give up on Puka yet. I think he's going to have a great career. Kyron Williams, obviously, I think Kyron Williams is going to be a stud in this league. The one thing, the one knock is that I couldn't do it. I know, like I said, people do things differently. The Sea Dogs have 2 quarterbacks right now, 2 top 10 quarterbacks with Trevor Lawrence bounced back, had a really great game this week. Lamar Jackson, Jackson's on a bye week this week, so Lawrence is going to get the start for the Sea Dogs, but you're really in a position where it's like, when you have, 2 quarterbacks and can only start 1, you really get to the thing where you don't want to second guess yourself. And if you got, if you got Jackson and Lawrence has a great game, you're like shooting yourself in the foot and going crazy. Sea Dogs also have Joshua Dobbs. Thank God they did not start him last night. He was absolutely awful. But that's going to be a big game. IFT is on a they are on a nice little winning streak as well, getting things back together. They do have Josh Allen, who's going to be out this week. Dalton Kincaid is going to be out this week, both on buys. Jared Goff looks like they're going to get the start from them. Nice connection with Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love FJTK's receivers. AJ Brown, Ayuk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Olive. He really got some, and DK Metcalf. It was like, I'm looking at my team and I have all these running backs right now, and this is a really, the way this league is set up, you start 3 wide receivers, you only start 2 running backs in a flex, and really wish that I focused a lot more on wide receivers. When I was buying these players, I did get some receivers, but not as depth as my running backs are now. So big game for me this week as well. TOD going up against really TOD's rival, which is Shake and Bake. There's been so many games between me and DB where the games are just like, I think I beat DB in the playoffs last year by like half a point. Zach Moss was the guy who started on Monday night for DB. I think he just had to get like 8 points, and he got like 6.5 or 7. And it was really a shocker because I think he was like, he was like supposed to get like 14. And there was something wrong with the defense because I started the Denver defense that got killed against the Rams that week too. So I really lucked out in that one. So this is going to be a battle. I have a lot of players that are on bye this week. It looks like I'm going to have to pick up some wide receivers from the waiver wire. So this is going to be a battle. Not out of this one yet. TOD does not control their own destiny as far as the points. I'm tied with the two big guys right now in first, but I'm really going to need to win both of these games and really get a loss from one of those two to get one of the seeds because my points are just not there. And the Waffle Bowl is in full effect. I don't know if Danny qualifies for the Waffle Bowl, whether he said he was or not, but Danny plays champ this week. They are both 3-9. Danny didn't sign one, so he's still got a decent team. He's favored big to win over champ right now, but anything can happen. And then the Red Sharks play semi-automatic, and that's really up for grabs. I know that Devinder is not Waffle House eligible. So it's really going to be, it's looking to me like it's going to be either champ or Rich at the Waffle House. But this is an exciting week all around. You have some great games here, and you also, every single game matters because of the Waffle Bowl. So that's what makes this league so exciting. We have we're gonna have a ton of fun as we end this season off. Really these playoff teams aren't decided, but it's really a mad race to see where everyone's going to match up in the playoffs. Are even going to be more excited, and the Waffle Bowl is going to be exciting. So it's an exciting time for the TPFFKAL. Make sure you reach out to Robin, get on the show. We'd love to have you once again. This is Freddie, you and everyone have a great evening. Pick up those waiver wire candidates tonight, and we'll be back on the show later this week. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.